So it's really only when we begin to feel the restrictiveness of that sense of separate self that we are even willing to consider other possibilities. So when, despite this sense that I know there's a separate self here, I'm certain of it, and yet when we're asked, well, where exactly is it? A person might, point to their head, or point to their heart, but people don't say, well, it's here, it's in my left hand, or they don't point to their knee or their foot. It seems like, the places a person might commonly point to is their head or their heart. And I think the reason for that is that we identify with thinking and feeling, the two sensations that feel most intimate um, as a part of ourselves. But when we start looking at that, does thinking define what we are? Does feeling define what we are? So we're not denying that there's thinking happening, thoughts happen. We can look, we all have had that direct experience where, we can, whether we're meditating or just walking across the room, we can notice that there is for most of us, almost all the time, there's this linearity of thought. One thought and another thought and another thought. No, and not really, hardly a space there at all between them. But they are linear, we can notice that. Feelings are a little more complex than that. They can sort of meld into each other and combine and flow. But the linearity of thought is quite specific. So we can clearly see that thought happens. What we presume is that there must be a thinker, therefore. Right? But when we go looking for that thinker, it can be surprisingly elusive. Right? We can see the thoughts clearly, but the presumption that therefore there is a separate self in there somewhere that is the one thinking those thoughts and deciding which thoughts to think. Right? It's almost as if we imagine that there's sort of a backstage manager with all these yet to be thoughts that are sort of waiting there to go on stage, and the manager says, "Okay, you're next, go." And but that's not what we actually find. We don't ever find the thinker of the thoughts. The thoughts are there. It's just the thinker is um, surprisingly absent. So what we do with that is say, well, no, that can't be true. That can't be right. Maybe I just haven't tried hard enough. Maybe I'm just not very good at this. Maybe I just need to look more closely. I'm sure that it's in there somewhere. Um, but this is sort of rejecting our direct observation in favor of our belief, right? Our belief is, I think my thoughts. That's our belief. So, but our direct experience is thoughts happen, and I can't pin down this thinker. I can't ever get a good look at a separate entity in there somewhere that's the one thinking. So our direct experience is that thoughts arise, and we can't even say exactly where they arise from. And they may hang around for a while, have a certain lifespan, and then sort of exit stage left in favor of another thought. right? That's our direct experience. Everything else is a presumption. So what we can notice is that a thought arises and there's something that notices that thought, right? So a thought arises and awareness is present. Um, that thought, in a sense, appears on that screen of awareness.